Are you ready for a show talking real life? Sophisticated, melanated, we gotta feel right. Men and women, black culture, yeah, that's real life. Yeah, that's real life. Put it in the air. Let's go. Another show. Put it in the air. Let's go. Stop the show. George D. Tony says. Asia.
What up?
I see you.
Welcome to episode 165. The Duce got me choking a little bit. It's your boy George D. Tone says Asia be back. They being responsible. And I love it. Asia celebrating Mother's Day. So we want to start this off by shouting every mother in the world, everybody who's listening to this, shout y'all out. Mothers that are present, mothers to be, and all those that are shooting a shot right now to get somebody to become their future mother. Shout out to y'all. Happy Mother's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio. Mm-hmm. If y'all watch the PINTAPIN lives, we've had some very spirited debates. Mm-hmm. And it started off one time with a young lady by the name of Miss Prissy Pearl who walked in. And she kind of shook the room. Then she came and delivered when we got a little focused and a little conscious when we did it was a Black History Month episode we did. And we were talking about educators and things of that sort. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome Crystal, a.k.a. Oh no, we can't say AKA. we cannot do that. We cannot do that. We're just gonna say Crystal. We shout out Crystal, y'all. Also known as Prissy Pearl on IG. Prissy Pearl 18. Yes. Y'all go follow her right now at Prissy Pearl 18. Thank you for coming through, showing us love.
Single men.
Y'all heard it, fellas.
They can follow me.
If y'all single and ready to be serious.
Exactly.
Y'all can holler at her.
Thank you.
For sure. Mm-hmm. But today, she came in, show us love. She actually was going to be here a couple weeks back. 1 week, I thought you fake. I was like, she ain't serious about coming. Because every time I'd be like...
As many times as I pop on.
But I didn't think she wanted to come in the studio. I would be like, yo, what's up? And you was like, what's the topic?
Right. Because I'm thinking from my mass comm mind, like, okay, you already have like the topics. So I didn't know it was like more of off the cuff, however you're feeling in that moment. So I was like, what's the topic?
There's a little bit of planning, but for the most part, we want to go with what drives you at that particular time. Because, sometimes you might have a topic in mind. Mm-hmm. Like, I really want to talk about this. But then you might lose your steam on it, like, as you get closer to wanting to talk about it. And we want things to be organic and fresh. So you come in here, you might have, like, about 5 things you really want to talk about or you thought you wanted to talk about. But then by the time you get here, you might be like, man, I'm just focused on this one.
Not me, because I'm like, and another thing. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
All right. Shout out to that.
I can talk. My report cards every year said, talkative.
You was talking in class the whole time.
Look, I used to be like, but my grades are good, so what's the problem?
Oh, so you was one of those, because you're doing everything you're supposed to do, you felt like you could also be bad at the same time. I could be a little disobedient.
I'm a chatty Cathy. I can't help it. I probably could talk to the wall and be happy. So
were you always this way?
I was always talkative.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Like confident, like adults, peers, the whole nine.
I was very well encouraged in my family. I was the first first niece. So I think everything was always shiny, bright, and new with me until my younger sister came. Okay. So I was encouraged to talk, to give my thoughts. And so my grandmother named me the speaker of the house. Okay. So she was like, that girl right there going to be a lawyer. She has opinions and she'll tell you. So I was like, oh, okay.
So if y'all didn't check out the PINTAPIN one, she's also in education.
Yes.
What got you into education?
Ooh.
And how do you if you're the Miss Chatty one, right? Mm-hmm. Did you ever leverage that to help your students?
So I did not formally go to school for education.
Word.
I wanted to be a teacher. And so my uncle, who was a few years older than me, we grew up more like brother and sister. So he was like my first real best friend. Like we did everything together.
Yeah.
He was a teacher. And so I was like, I want to be a teacher. He was like, no, you don't. And I was like, I do. And so he was like, well, what's the second thing that you love? So I was like, I want to be on the radio. So he was like, okay, go and study broadcasting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so he was like, and if you don't really fall into it, it doesn't work out for you, at least your major is mass communications and it's broad enough for you to move into something else.
Got you.
Technically still an English major.
Yeah.
So I did. I was a broadcasting major. I loved the whole experience. Interned with the radio station. It was great.
That where down there?
And so, yeah.
South
So I went to
okay.
the illustrious Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. BC. You know. And so I interned at the Big DM.
Okay.
Which is a radio station with Curtis Wilson. That was my mentor. Curtis is big down there. He's on TV and radio.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you see and hear Curtis every day. And I loved it. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was just like, it lost its fizzle. So.
What about it lost its fizzle?
I think because I had such a great interning experience and Curtis would sneak me on the radio a couple of times and they got really good responses. I didn't think I needed to be, I didn't think I needed to be on the street team. I felt like that was a slap in the face. I'm not going to even hold you. I'm like, I'm on in the mornings and people are like, she sounds good. She's interesting. She's opinionated. Like, because that's the thing, you know, you also have to have a voice for radio. The slap in the face is, oh, you have a face for radio, which says like you're ugly. But clearly we see I'm not ugly. But,
hold on. If you have a face for radio, that means you're not really that attractive.
Have you seen some of radio personalities?
Continue.
There is one. He's paved the way, so I will not mention his name.
Yeah.
But he has been brought up to say, like in conversation, like he has a face for radio. But he has a wonderful voice.
Okay.
So, you know, just Google some radio personalities and you'll be surprised.
I'm a Donnie Simpson fan. You know what I'm saying?
Donnie, very much like Curtis, you saw him on TV and you heard him on the radio.
Okay.
Just like Tig. We saw him on TV on BET in the basement, and then we also heard him, right?
Okay.
So it was different.
Wow.
It was very different.
I'm learning something new, y'all. Go ahead.
You know, Donnie had the light ass. Hey, Donnie. All right.
Donnie had him.
Yeah, but really, in my mind, I wanted to be Kathy Hughes / Tig. That's what I wanted.
What would that combination look like in the real world?
That meant I had all of the power plays, the business acumen, to run things behind the scene, but I had the flavor, I had the energy. I kept my ear to the ground, so like I was always in the know, and I think that's what like Tig had.
Okay.
Well, still has, you know, because he's doing good in Atlanta, but.
Definitely.
So long story short, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I was like, I'm not about to be on the street team, driving a van around, sitting outside of the club, giving people CDs. Like, excuse me? So I was actually working at a dental office part-time. So I went there full-time when I graduated. I stayed really because I thought I was in love with somebody. And he ain't moved fast enough for me. So I was like, I'm coming back home.
Patience is a virtue, but we won't talk about that.
How many years?
Go ahead. We're not starting that today.
No, we're going to start that because
I wasn't ready.
You're going to be ready. We were best friends in college.
Okay.
We didn't date until after college. So I knew all his family. He knew all my family. We knew all of each other's personal businesses, failures in relationships, all that, like, you know. So how many years did you need? We didn't have that getting to know you, period.
Because you already knew each other. But y'all knew each other as friends. Love is different, though.
But it was always there. Because everybody used to be like, why y'all just won't hurry up and date? Like, what is the problem? Like, the chemistry was so strong. Everybody was like, are y'all dating secretly and just don't want to tell us? Because it was just that strong. And we'd be like, thinking about this ashy Negro? Like, please. Right? So, no. Like, college is 4 years of being best friends.
That is a long time. That's significant. But you're learning yourself. And he probably had
George.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. Maybe when you're going through that period. No, college goes by fast if you really pay. If you really just doing it, it goes by quick.
Okay, so we had 4 years of college. We didn't date until maybe like my second year out of college. And he was ahead of me.
Okay.
So we're talking about at least a good 6 years of friendship.
Okay.
Best friends.
Best friends.
I know your mama. You know my mama. We are in a space where we can operate with each other's families without the other person.
I can hear women saying, just shaking their head, I'm not defending this guy, just so you know that, right?
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just telling the truth. I'm giving the whole story.
No, I respect it. I'm not, you know, sometimes some of us dudes come around later in life. I'm one of them, so I'm not knocking you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying patience is a virtue.
It is a virtue. And then I got that window seat and left. And he didn't think I was going to, but I did. So fast forward, I moved back. My uncle had just passed.
Yeah.
And I came
This
home.
is the one who encouraged you. Okay.
Right. So he passed. So he was a English teacher. He moved to London
wow. Okay.
on like a teacher exchange program and never came back home. He loved it just that much.
Wow. Okay.
So he taught English to the English. And he had passed away. I came home to help with the arrangements because it's very different when somebody's overseas. Like somebody has to fly there. They have to pack up the house. You have to sign out the body. Like there are a lot of things that go into that, right? And so I decided to stay stateside and help with that stuff while some of the other family members went to England to figure that stuff out. And so I was like, I'm just going to go by Trinity because that's where I went for my master's. I was like, let me see. Because he's talking crazy. Like, he don't know what he want to do. He doesn't really think I'm going to leave. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't threaten nobody. There's no threatening over here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that.
Okay.
I make promises and I keep them. So I was just, let me go up here. I went up there and they was like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, you're in.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, well, God, if you want me to come home, just say that. Had the conversation with him. He didn't believe me. I was like, oh, the U-Haul is pulling up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And out.
So I get home. So at this time, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to school full time. Well, I was like, my god sister was working for DCPS at the time. She was like, well, they're having a fair. I think you should check it out. So I went and got hired on the spot. So I taught special education at a DC school and where we serviced all students of different disabilities.
Okay.
Then they closed it down probably like 3 years into that. I switched over to a high school where I became a Rambler. I loved Eastern. It was a good time. Did good work. So like that's literally how I fell into it.
Okay. And now today?
Today I work for a nonprofit here in DC where I am a college prep advisor. I work with students in high school, 9th through 12th, helping them figure out where they want to go, what they want to be, how to get there, helping them to map out a plan of success.
Okay.
And I follow the rules of the organization, but I do put a little sizzle on top of it because I watched my mother, who has also been in education for a long time. She was a vocational director here in DC.
Okay.
So between her and my uncle, just watching them work with students, I was like, that's where I'm supposed to be. And so he was right. I wasn't supposed to be a teacher. But at that time, we didn't have all of these other roles in education.
Got you.
So he was technically right, but I was also technically right. I knew I was supposed to be in education. I knew that was my zhuzh. That was my movement. That's where I needed to be. Those were the things that I really cared about. College and career are really important to me. And I think also because when I graduated high school, I was only 17 and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so my mother was like, you have 3 choices. You either go to college. You said you don't think you want to do that.
Yeah.
You go to the military. She's like, I know you're not going to do that. She's like, go get a full-time job. So I got a full-time job. And by the time, I don't even think I made a whole year. I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, so you chilled for about close to half a year before you went away. That's smart.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is ghetto. Let me go get me a degree so I can make more money, have better benefits, experiences, like all this kind of thing. So that's how I was like, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and go to college.
Okay.
This is where I need to be.
Yeah.
So having my own journey, I think, helps me with students who aren't really sure.
Correct.
And I understand what it means to not be sure.
How many how often do you meet students that are very unsure? That you know college is not the place for you to be at this particular point?
Every day.
Every day. You know, it's so funny. I was at I remember the HBCU that I went to. Morehouse, shout out. I had a professor.
Slam y'all in football. Period.
I had a professor, great man. We don't communicate today, but he's somebody that I honestly admire. I got a lot of admiration for, a lot of respect for, deep reverence. His name is Dr. Frederick Douglass Opie. Yeah, Dr. Frederick Douglass Opie. I check him out. I remember when I was there, he had wrote a book. He was telling about the book that he was writing. It was a book about soul food, the origination of soul food. And he was really going to go deep with it. And he actually wrote that book. It actually was published. So if y'all out there, y'all want to check out that book, definitely check it out. Dr. Frederick Douglass Opie. I don't know the name of the book at this particular time, but it is about soul food. And he's written other ones. But nevertheless, one of the things that he had told me, or told us, the students in his class, was like, he used to be like, look, this school costs this amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all folks are taking out crazy loans and so forth for y'all to be here. You know, like this isn't the place really to figure it out. But as long as you're in my class, I'm going to challenge you to figure it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I never heard a professor ever say it like that, but I think because of his own journey, he was able to pass that type of information along. And I think as an educator, I think that's one of the best things you can honestly do is share your testimony in your courses with your students, because a lot of them think that everybody figured it out. A lot of times you're in class and you think that everybody knows what the hell they want to do or be. I talked to a gentleman the other evening when I was traveling, and he said he knew exactly what he wanted at 17 and by the age of 30. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, how? And he is that. But I know for a fact, not a lot of people, including myself, was like that focused and knew exactly what I wanted to do and, you know, and actually do the grunt work to get there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's dope that you actually bring that to the students out here. Are you focusing on like students in the Washington, D.C. area or?
So the nonprofit is here in D.C. and we serve students that are in wards 7 and 8.
Okay.
And because, you know, I grew up in Southeast.
Shout out
mama,
South Side. Dope.
It's important to me to give back to the communities that raised me.
Look at her being all motherly, y'all.
Touch the children.
She's being motherly. So we want to
show them the way. They're the future.
Yes. Oh, you about to start singing a song? I believe the children are the future.
But no, it's important. It's good work. It is hard work. It is frustrating work.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of crystals who, and when I call them crystals, I mean the conversation that I had with my uncle. Like, I want to be a teacher. He's like, no, you don't. I'm saying, you don't know me, bro. You just know me my whole life.
Yeah,
you don't know me. Right.
Yeah.
And so, and that's why I say we were both like kind of right. Like,
no.
Teacher, no, but in education in another way. So,
how do you break through? That's a good question I'm thinking about, because I had an uncle who tell me to study economics before I went to school, and I just kind of brushed him off, only to run the gauntlet of life to now focus on economics. So how do you break through? Looking at the crystal you were, and you have crystals now, how do you break through, or do you not? Or you just shoot your shot and allow it to just do its thing?
No. Everybody's different. So you have to really have deep, patient conversations with them, because some students know, and you know when they know. It's just an innate feeling that happens, like, okay, I don't have to worry about you. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the students that I know are the students who are the high flyers. They're the 3.5s and above. And they're doing the serious work now because they get it. And everybody has a different reason for why they've gotten it, because some of my kids have, come from 2-parent homes where both parents work and they bring home, a good amount of money. Some of them coming from single parents. Some of them are being raised by grandparents or aunts and uncles. A couple of them may be in the system. So they all have their own reason for why they got it and why they're so super focused. So you kind of don't have to worry about them in that way. I have to work with them on like life skills. Like, how do you advocate for yourself? How do you know your academic resources? How do you find them? How do you choose the best classes for yourself when you're talking to your advisor? Because they want you to take an 8 o'clock class, but 8 o'clock's not going to work for you, right? So are you willing to wait the next semester to take that class when it's offered at 12? Like, so I have to have those kind of conversations with them.
Yeah.
But the other students, it's really trying to figure out where they fit in. Like, what are you truly passionate about? And although it's a very cliche question, it's a very real question. If you could do anything in the world and not worry about getting paid, what would you do? And so they're like, well, Miss G, what would you do? I'm doing what I'm doing. Y'all don't understand. Like, technically I'm not a teacher anymore, but when Teachers Week rolls around, y'all need to be bringing me Dr. Pepper. Y'all need to be bringing
you
me
need your apples.
Right. Well, not no apples.
You don't want no apples?
I don't want no apples. But, like, you should show up. Like, a card would be great.
Yeah.
Something to say, like, you appreciate the hard work, because some students that I get close to, they have my number.
Facts.
So they're calling me after work hours. They're calling me on the weekends. I've really dealt with some serious issues with students after hours. So it can get real thick sometimes. And so a lot of the times I have to help them work out other issues before we can even get to what do you want to be?
Correct.
And where do you want to go?
Correct.
So I'm like, I don't get paid the big bucks. But I'm doing what I love doing. I would still do this.
Let me ask you this, because it ain't like we playing this one, but I want to know from an educator's perspective, even though you're in a nonprofit role today, how do you feel about the pay that educators get? And do you think if they were 6-figured out already that we would get better educators? What do you think the solution is to that? Are we getting better educators because they are underpaid, in my opinion? The ones who actually love it are doing it, or will we get better ones if it paid better?
It's definitely a double-edged sword. However, I think if the pay was better and if the work-life balance was better, if the respect was better, teachers, being a teacher or being an educator, right? Because at this point, I've transcended, I believe, in my career from just being a teacher to being an educator, because I talk about life in totality. And sometimes as a teacher, you just have that specific course, or that specific subject that you're teaching.
Yeah.
And teachers, unfortunately, have been robbed of the opportunity to be creative and talk about things that are a little bit outside of the box, but still matter in the realm of whatever subject it is that they're teaching. So the respect factor is at an all-time low. I felt like it might have gotten a little better, but no. You have people who go into education because they know they'll have loan forgiveness. I have worked with teachers who are like, I hate this job. I don't want to be here. I'm here because the pay is well. Teachers who get their master's or go into a specialty like special education, you get paid more money, but you don't really have the heart for it. You have to have the heart. You have to have an unwavering patience to work with students, especially when you're in an urban area, because you're going to deal with a lot. But when you go into specialties like special education, that's just a different level.
Okay.
And so knowing that there are people out here that go into that just so that they can get higher pay coming out of college is very troublesome for me, because I know you're not here because you really love children and you want to see them grow and push past the boundaries and the labels that have been placed on them. So unfortunately, like I know a guy who was like, my loans will be will be paid off or forgiven this year and I'm leaving. And that's exactly what he did. And The bad thing about it is if you're not a teacher with a master's in most places, you're not going to really make the money. You kind of have to wait for the years to give you the money. But we all know, like, there are some people who will wait out the time to get what they want. And also, you really do have to like kids.
Yeah.
I like kids. I love them.
Okay.
I also know my area is high school.
Okay.
I don't really need the little ones. They need all students need a lot of hand holding and hugging and loving. But
what they call that scaffolding or something like that?
Well, scaffolding goes into something else.
Go ahead.
On how you teach your lesson and how you kind of rewind to bring students back up. To where you need them to be. But little kids, you really have to like hug them and wipe their noses. And I don't want to wipe your nose. Okay. And you're very germy. Sounds like little ones are not, not really for me, right? Yeah. They need a different type of hand holding.
Okay.
Middle schoolers, they feeling themselves. That's when the hormones really, people think high school kids are like, no.
Middle
schoolers. That's like, what was they like gremlins. Not lying to y'all. They're like gremlins.
Okay.
High schoolers, those are my babies. Those are the lost children. Because everybody feels like, oh, they think they know everything. They don't want to listen. And really, those are the ones that are crying out for attention. They want your attention. They want your help. They want somebody to care. Period. And it doesn't even matter if they come from like a great home, whatever that looks like. They still want somebody else that's not at home. And some of them can voice it and some of them cannot. But when you're at home, and let's say you have the quote unquote good home, your parents are expected to be like, you're handsome, George. Look at you. You're just the most handsomest guy in the whole wide world. Meanwhile,
it don't be the case.
They're not telling you that you're not going to be handsome to everybody, right? Because that's life.
Yeah.
You're not really giving your children the real deal about life and what it looks like and what it means and how to deal with it when it happens. I remember one time, this is like right around when American Idol came out. And my sister was like, I'm going to go on American Idol and I'm going to win. And my mother was like, girl, you cannot sing. Like, you're going to be one of the people that's on the bloopers in the front that we laugh at.
Yeah.
And my sister was so offended. And it was very funny for me. It was very comical. But it was very true. Like, my sister cannot sing.
Yeah.
She don't even have a shower voice. Like, nah, sis, it's not for you. So when you have parents who aren't really telling their children the truth and the whole truth, right?
Yeah.
Or lying by omission is what I like to call it for some of them.
Yeah.
You're setting your son and your daughter up for failure.
Happy Mother's Day.
It's a thankless job.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
And I believe it's July. My best friend going to be mad at me if I forget this. I think it's July. Is it July 26th? It's Auntie's Day.
That's an Auntie's Day?
There's and it is. And
I didn't know about that.
I better get something for Auntie's Day.
You brought up an interesting point. And it's almost it goes in the realm of the responsibility of what you say. Because that person, that mother, that parent who's telling that child, you're attractive, you're beautiful, blah, 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 isn't always saying the reality of the situation to me and to whomever else believes the same thing, but not everyone, right? And in recent news or viral news, social media news, whatever you want to call it news, there was a little back and forth between, not going to say a little back and forth, but there was a back and forth between Dr. Umar Johnson and Kevin Samuels, where Kevin Samuels on his platform have women coming on basically saying, why don't you talk like Dr. Umar? And he's taking it personal. Now, I will say, when he did his impersonation, I was like, that's how he really talked, though. Because he knew he got his spot on.
Like he widened his arms.
Yeah, he was like, I was like, yo, your whole voice changed. You might have to have, this might be you, that, ladies. And I was like, man, dude, we switching up. But nevertheless, in that conversation or what have you, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about how Kevin Samuels is speaking to women versus how Dr. Umar references or speaks to women? Do you think that there's a balance? Do you think that they're both healthy in their respective way? Or what do you think?
I think they take the liberty of being a man and sharing their opinions about women a little too loosely at times.
Both.
Just because Dr. Johnson likes to rest his opinions on his degree, it is still an opinion. That is that.
Okay.
And he likes to surround it and cushion it with a lot of Pan-Africanism and traditionalism, which the majority of us have not had the great opportunity to actually be a part of.
Okay.
I think there was like a clip, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but there was a clip that I saw for Dr. Umar that talked about why he's still single. And he was like, because I'm waiting on a sister, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm waiting on sisters to find me. So if you know that I'm the man you're looking for, then you need to holler at me. Excuse me? Like, where does that work? What tribe in Africa? I mean, now I know there are some tribes or, where women are very strong and they kind of lead in things. Like we got women that were warriors.
Okay.
And like all that. But what tribe?
Yeah.
What tribe? Let me know. Like he picks and he chooses. The man is supposed to be the protector and provider, and he's supposed to do all these things. And like he's Pan, and then he's like American. At the same time, like
Pan is not necessarily that.
No, but I'm saying like I feel like for him, sometimes his messages
it's kind of conflicting.
Yeah, it's like okay, the man is supposed to do X, Y, and Z, and he's supposed to seek you out.
Yeah,
he's not supposed to chase you, but he's supposed to court you and pursue you.
Yeah,
and then you're like, yeah, ladies, hit me up if I'm the one. But which one is it, Umar?
I don't know. I never seen it, so I can't speak on it. But what I will say
he was on the Breakfast Club. So this is a clip from. Like,
I'm gonna try to see if I can catch that. But yeah, that's a no go.
I haven't watched it yet. So then
he definitely has to step it up. If that's what he has to go for it. But now again, he has been in trouble.
He has, because people want to know where their money at or where the school at.
The school's there apparently, because he's even hosting stuff at the location.
So then what?
They're doing renovations. He's saying that the money that he was able to raise helped him purchase the land in the school. Now the school needs to be renovated, updated, and things of that nature to be able to do the things he want to do, and that's what it is.
Well, I think at this point, his ask of those who want to donate needs to be, actually fulfilling the contractual needs for the companies to come in and do the work. Because you're now losing the respect of those who have listened to you and supported you for all these years, and they feel like there's not a school that's open and working.
I think somebody needs to get with him, or he needs to find someone that can create a level of transparency. Like, if you were doing like crowdfunding through like one of those, whatever, like even if it's like a Patreon, you can go like, okay, this is what I'm raising money for. And then every donation that comes by way of that, then you'll see what that number and that total is. And then you can actually say, okay, this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. Even if it's specific funds for whatever. Right now, he's doing what the church called the church fund. The building fund.
The building fund.
Every week is the building
fund. Yet.
Yeah, like we like building fund. Like, what is the building fund? Where's everything going in the building fund? And I think that's where people are going like, it's you would love for people to be able to just blindly do it. But I think at this point in the game, he needs to find somebody. Because even the way he's collecting donations, like Cash App, at $FDMG, like, nah. It has to be a way more structured, more professional kind of way that, and there are methods out there. Unfortunately, he may not want them to be able to capitalize it, but I'm sure if you're taking money through like Cash App, they're taking a percentage of that, right?
I would think so.
I think they're taking a percentage of that for like businesses. So I think that's the one thing. I think that's what he needs to do. I think that is what I would recommend that he does. Find a way. If I was that person, I would go to him and say it. Look, you need a professional, structured way where people can actually see what they are donating to. They can see when the number is moving up or not. and how it's moving and things of that nature, because that's where he's running into problems.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying at this point. Just if I'm a millionaire and you need you need the whole school rewired, I'll just pay for the electrician.
Correct. What's that number?
What's the number? And I will personally pay them, and they will come and rewire the school.
He needs support.
So,
he needs a board. That's another thing. He does. Because that's what the board does. That's what the board typically does. So I don't know. I can't call it. It is what it is, or what have you. Now, as far as the conversation goes, now I will admit to this, like, because Tony definitely has said this or what have you, even in our group chats. The thing about Kevin Samuels is like, okay, you are, and I agree with Dr. Umar too, in the capacity of, all right, listen, we are black men talking to black women, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care how off the beaten path you may consider one to be. The reality of the situation is, if we don't show respect and we don't deal with them, or we don't speak to them in a way that uplifts them and holds them in a high regard, we give everybody else the license to do the same.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, I don't care if this went over. I don't care if Beyonce and Destiny's Child and them wrote No Scrubs. I don't care if whatever. They have a responsibility too, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care if they're looking for somebody to pay for this or pay for that. Like, I don't care. At the end of the day, how we speak to one another is what's going to give others the license to speak to us however. Like, when that, if we in our music are saying nappy head hoes and this, that, and the third, how could we be mad truthfully at the white radio broadcaster when he does it? Because that's what actually happened. He wound up losing his job. You know what I'm saying? Over it, because it did come off like, it's like, maybe you can't say it, right? But at the end of the day, the example was already set.
Right. The precedence was set.
Exactly.
I get that. And so I think that's the problem that I have with Kevin Samuels.
Got you.
First of all, sir, it's your opinion. It's your opinion. Mm-hmm. And you use this opinion sometimes in a way that does more harm than it does good.
Correct.
Because you spend the time breaking women down, but you don't finish the conversation building them back up.
Correct.
And my dude, you're not the finest thing walking either. Mm-hmm. So when he's like, rate yourself and you can't use a 7, if some of the women, because I've seen it, they go, well, then I'm an 8. He's like, you're not an 8.
Hold on. Why can't you use a 7?
Because 7 is the safe number.
Oh, so you either above or below is basically what you're saying.
Right. And so then I've seen women be like, well, I'm an 8. And he's like, you're a 6. Or you're a 5.
Yeah, I don't bang with that.
And then the standard of beauty that he uses, and she is so gorgeous. I love her to death. But like, I think one of his top women is Kelly Rowland.
Okay. I had a crush on her.
Right? Because she's beautiful, right? Yeah. But Kelly has also lived a life at a level where the products that she washes her face with aren't the same ones that are really available to the everyday woman. Mm-hmm. She's using a different type of lotion to moisturize her skin. She's going to an esthetician every 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So she was gorgeous before all of Destiny's Child happened, and then the fame and the money came. But you are also using women who have access to things that help keep them at a higher level of beauty. Listen. So then what does that say to a woman like me who might not have access to all of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he looks at the bigger picture.
No, I agree with you. I think to speak to that point, like, first and foremost for me, to the point that you make, like, beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, it's an opinion.
Right? Everyone can see different things, right?
Right.
I think that where he can benefit from is I think this is the thing. What is your end goal? When you listen to Kevin Samuels, I think the issue is
Kev, y'all friends?
I was going to say, I have this habit of shortening everybody's name. So when you listen to Kevin Samuels, I think one of the issues that you find, you don't know what you're trying to figure out. What is your motivation? What is your end goal? Is it for the man to now triumph over the woman? Or is it to bring the woman up while also elevating the man? Like, elevate the man to be worthy of a woman who has also elevated, You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a better cause for me. Like, all right, dudes, we, like they say, us men, we ain't got our ish together. We ain't doing this. We ain't doing that. So look, I'm going to give you our position. I'm going to speak to you from a position to level up, to have higher expectations of yourself and others, to do better and be better and to choose better. But at the same time, while I'm showing you how to choose better, I'm also elevating women to understand how your standards are set and how you move will help men elevate, because everything we do is for y'all. However you want to slice the pie. I don't care what you say. Everything most men do is for women. You know what I'm saying? If dudes could get by with little to nothing, they ain't have to wear jewelry, they ain't have no drip, they ain't have to get no... Man, if you couldn't impress a woman, like I remember years ago when I used to ride motorcycles, and I used to be outside in Anacostia, and I would see dudes driving around with big cars. And I'm thinking to myself, my man,
all in Berry Farms.
Yeah, he gonna
have our own little basketball tournaments in the summer. Oh yeah, I was down the street trying to see.
I used to think, oh, these dudes gotta be winning. And I used to see mad women be like, nope. And I'm like, yo, my man driving the AMG, nope. They looking for the dude. He can have a regular little 600 CBR and he get more love. I was like, yo, it's crazy, right? But at the end of the day, it was about like, look, level it up. If we all level this up and we all change and we all looking to be the best selves as a race, I don't care. I'm not even going just man and women. I'm thinking about as a race, like black men, black women. If we all level up, we expecting more, desiring more, and coming together to acquire more and to have more, it works. But sometimes I think the messaging for me is just like, to Dr. Umar's point, you're bringing these women down. Like you're telling them they're not better than what they are. Like, you know, or you're not helping them grow. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have I'm gonna say a false perspective, but if you're a little grandiose in your opinion of yourself, right? I'm happy that you have that confidence of yourself. Now, my reality is not to break you down to reality, but my thing is to now say, well, now let's make sure that your reality actually matches up with the confidence.
Exactly.
Right? Let's do that. So if you have if you have a 625 credit score, right? and you behaving like you got a 750, 800, let's focus. I'm happy you think that way because you're going to manifest destiny out here. But now let's figure out how we can really get you to that. And that's how I'm thinking in my head. So I do agree with that. Like Kevin Samuels, like, look, I keep calling him Kev, right?
I was like, you must know Kev.
Listen, again, your end goal is what it all comes down to me. I don't know what position you stand on. I think that's something that people really got. Like, what is your end goal? Is it all about dudes just leveling up to triumph over women? Or is it about both women and men having a real sense of where they really are? And both working with each other to get to another place. So they're both trying to level up.
Well, I think the other thing for him is, so like his niche is high value men.
Okay.
So these are the men who are making 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 and above, right? So if you as a woman desire and want a high value man, these are the things that you need to know about yourself. So if I'm looking at you, oh yeah, nah, you're not going to make it because you're not quote unquote pretty enough. But who says that your pretty is the same as Jeff Bezos?
True.
And I'm trying to figure out who got more money than Jeff at the moment.
Not even that.
But what I'm saying is, beauty is different for everybody.
True.
So you're spending all of this time, and let's be clear, everybody wants to have a good amount of income to afford them a type of lifestyle, right?
Correct.
And so for women, and I think this is the other thing, like you have to remember that society has beat us over the head with a man has to protect, he has to provide. And then once time started moving on, him providing came with a dollar amount. So now you've told me I'm supposed to be with the ballers, the men who have these great careers, the VPs, the CEOs, the CFOs. And so now that I'm trying to play that game, now you're here telling me that I don't qualify for that game.
True. But my biggest thing about that, who says that the money you make or the money you earn, I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4 or high value men love the best.
They don't.
And so that's my thing because
they lack a lot of things, and time is always one of them.
So now that's my question. Like I'm wondering, all these women who want the high value men, who want the man who's gonna give them the financial security and
They want the
access
Tessie.
and all that other stuff.
The 10 carat.
But where do you get your love? Where do you get your hugs and your kisses, your romance? Or have you sacrificed all of that?
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you sacrifice those things.
Really?
I've been in a relationship
Down to
like
loyalty.
that where...
Down to actual faithfulness and commitment.
Yep.
Just to have financial security.
That wasn't what I was seeking, but that was the career that he had, that he made money. One thing about me that I kind of really fully realized about myself, like if he's not a go-getter, like if he's not busy, like hardworking, I don't want him.
Got you.
I don't want a man that has too much time on his hands.
Yeah.
But as an adult, you have to figure out the balance. Okay. And I think that is something really hard for quote unquote high value men. Like men who are making that kind of money, they aren't sitting at home twiddling their thumbs. They're not. They are super busy. They're hella busy. And that's just what it is. So if you are my partner, if you are my man, and you know time is something that's important because that's how you grow, that's how you connect, that's how you maintain, that's how you sustain, you have to find the time. And that is always an area that they lack in. And that's a fact. And I put that on my mama on Mother's Day.
Another responsibility in terms of communication. Recently, Bobby V was on Instagram and he's put out this message. He said, "You bees be naked so much on this app. I be wondering how y'all look in clothes. Like, sis might be cute in a turtleneck." Right. Now, he got slandered. And people came after him for calling women bees, right?
Right. That was wrong.
Absolutely wrong, right? But how do you feel about the actual message?
He didn't tell not one lie. Like, sis might really be cute in a turtleneck. Like, put some clothes on. Marty Marr said it the best. We want you classy, not showing all the ass, see?
Facts.
Like, leave something to the imagination. You can be hella sexy in a turtleneck.
You can.
You know what I'm saying? Especially you got a monochromatic look going on.
Yeah.
Like fall, and you got all your tans.
How do you define sexy?
Sexy is a vibe. It's not even it's not how much you have on or how much you don't have on, really. It really is just like your vibe.
Got you.
Like I was having a conversation with my friends. We're getting ready to go celebrate their birthday in Cabo in July. And we were kind of talking about each other's like style. Okay. And so one of my friends, she was like, I don't really like sexy isn't my thing. Like she's gonna serve you in like the blazer, like the casual.
She's sexy
polo.
yet conservative type vibe.
Yeah, you know, like that's her thing, and she does it very well. All the time. She never misses. She's like, Crystal, like, but you do sexy well. And so I was like, well, what does that mean? And she was like I've always had the mindset, like, if I have cleavage, then it's not going to be a short dress. If it's a short dress, then I'm not going to have cleavage. Like, I'm always trying to find the balance. But it's a vibe. It's like how you put things together. It's your aura. It's what you give off. She's like, you do sexy well. I was like, okay, when you explain it like that, I was like, okay, I like that, because if she made just that statement, I would have been like, I'm not out here thotting and bopping. So like,
I get it.
Like, what does that mean?
So I think there's a difference between sexy and sexual. Exactly.
So, you know, a lot of these Instagram models are just sexual. It's not really sexy.
It's like, I'm giving you a lot of body. I'm giving you nothing but what makes you think sexually about me and what I'm presenting. I'm not giving you sexy, which is more of a feeling of intimacy.
It's definitely.
It takes you into an intimate space, right? It makes you look at me in a very tantalizing way, but not necessarily a very sexual kind of way.
Like for me, I know my best asset are my eyes. Because I speak with my face.
Okay.
More than anything. Right. The girl can smash. These Hazel, I can smash for people now all the time.
Yeah.
So for me, that's always the thing that men say.
Yeah.
And I could be in sweats with some Timbs and some bamboo earrings. And they're like, you are so sexy. Because it's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's the look.
I always think sex is an aura.
Feel. Right. It's an aura. It's how you make the other person feel about you more say. It's not what's on your person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's like the best way to describe it.
Now, I agree. I mean, I used to always call it an attitude. I feel like it's how you walk, it's how you talk, it's your confidence in yourself, it's how you present yourself.
It's the tone of your voice when you have certain conversations. And
your femininity or your masculinity, right? Because men and women can be both sexy. So I feel like...
Yo, a dude called me handsome the other day.
What?
He was like, good morning, handsome. And I'm used to the good morning, beautiful text. So I was like, what, Negro? Yeah. Handsome. He was like, well, back in the day. Handsome was, I don't know, I guess technically it still is a unisex compliment.
Man, nah.
And I was like, what? And so I looked it up and I was like, technically, no, he is right.
Handsome
has been used to describe women back in the day. And then I was watching a movie called Open Range, which is like one of my favorite Westerns. And Kevin Costner is talking to the lady that he, loved then was so simple.
Yeah.
And he's like, I forgot her name, but he's like, you're the most handsomest woman I've ever seen. And so like I recorded it and sent it to him. And he was like, because I texted to him. I was like, oh, I'm handsome.
I got to figure this out. Hold on 1 second. Sir. I need to see what the real definition of this is. Define handsome. Because I've never... It said, of a man good looking. No. What is the real meaning of handsome? Having a pleasing and usually impressive or dignified appearance. Okay.
So it wasn't just a male thing per se. Like if you go and look at like the whole definition.
Look at this. Says, can you call a girl handsome? Answer, yes. You can use the adjective handsome for women, while handsome is more often used for men. Women can also be called handsome. When a woman is described as handsome, it suggests that she is very good looking and also healthy and strong.
Healthy and strong. And so for women, back in the day, you needed to be healthy and strong to do what? What was a major role for women?
Take care of the household, right? And bear children.
Exactly. So you wanted a woman who was healthy and strong. You didn't have no epidurals back then. You better push that baby out.
Bobby V. So switch it. You handsome women out here.
Don't be so handsome.
Don't be so handsome out here. That's what Bobby V need to switch it up. Let's switch up to handsome.
Marty Mar, you gotta be classy, not showing all the ass.
Let's see. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap, this is a topic that we're a little late to the party on this one, but it's never too late when you talk about putting in a podcast because it is an event. Something that came up some weeks back on couples, I think it was a couples retreat. Yandy Mendeecees. They were having a conversation and, the therapist was pushing. Mm-hmm. And they got into the conversation of insecurities. And as they talk about insecurities, he talked about some of the insecurities that he had. He didn't label it, but he talked about the communication. Mm-hmm. One thing anybody and everybody if you ever know anybody who's in jail and they come out, they tell you, like, time stands still for them. Sure they feel like they're like in a time warp where everybody else is moving, growing, older, da-da-da-da. So for him, what he perceived as lack of communication is totally not considering the fact that this person is minding 2 kids.
Multiple
businesses, calls, planning. There's a whole bunch of life happening where this individual just is in one place doing the same routine daily, day in, day out, waiting to be contacted, waiting to be a part of someone else's life or lifestyle. So he felt the kind of way he felt. He responded with the very kind of real defense mechanism. Like, yo, I'm going to just start training myself to not need, not want, not look. And in that conversation, he would always tell her, hey, listen, like, you don't have to do this. Now, I would admit, I'm a big dude on that. I always say that. Like, we enter relationships voluntarily, and I always want you to know that it's volunteer. I don't ever want you to, like, you obligate yourself as much as you want to be obligated, right?
That's disrespectful. That is so disrespectful.
No, not talking about the jail part about it.
No, to say that, period, in any relationship.
Why is it disrespectful?
That is disrespectful. Negro, I know it's a choice. I don't need you to remind me that I am making the choice because that's what love and relationships is. Loyalty in relationships, that's what that is. It's a choice. I am choosing.
Do you want me to communicate or do you not want me to communicate?
I am choosing you. You have to choose your partner every day.
Facts.
So I don't need you to now throw it back in my face like this is voluntary.
No. It's not coming out of nowhere. I'm sure they're experiencing things and he's like,
but
listen.
I still don't need you to say it.
Like, because for him, I think in that case, and I think when you say things like that, I think it's usually it rests on the heels of a lack of communication where you don't know where someone really stands or you feel like someone may be masking or someone may not be living their most.
Well, are we talking about this one particular situation?
No, I'm just taking it and just going.
But see, that's when it gets messy. So in this one particular situation, right? You're married. That was a whole thing about if they were really married, not really married, whatever. But if you are married and your husband goes to jail, he's going to be there for a few years. I don't need you talking crazy to me. Like, and he said it himself, like time for him stood still. Out here, it's not. We have children that I still have to provide for. They still have wants and needs, cares, concerns. I have businesses that I had before you went in. I've probably picked up a business or two since you've gone in. She did. And I'm not saying like I'm a Yandy fan. Like I don't have a reason to not like her. Like she's enjoyable. Like I've watched her, on TV and stuff like that. And I feel like she's done very good work. And then on top of that, she picked up the cause to advocate and rally for persons in prison. So now, like, because you're in, now I have something else or another, or like a bigger picture that I now have to discuss and talk about and advocate for because you are now one of those numbers. So I don't need you to remind me that it's a choice. I know it's a choice.
Yeah.
Everything is a choice. So to say that is very disrespectful, and then it minimizes what I'm doing for you, on behalf of you. Like,
I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying that it isn't disrespectful. I'm just saying that I believe that the mentality behind it is one of insecurity. When you're in that type of situation and you don't have the answer or you don't believe that somebody will go to bat for you to that magnitude, because he probably understood. And this is a lot. Right? This is a lot. And listen, if you don't want to do this, it is okay.
But that's a lot too. That's a lot too.
It is a lot.
It's not okay.
But it makes it easier for me to handle. All right, look.
No, instead of you manning up, telling the truth to yourself before you tell me the truth, because that's where the truth has to start. It's a personal conviction. It's a personal statement. It's a personal belief that you have to work through, mindset that you have to work through so that you can be whole and comfortable with communicating your true feelings.
Facts.
So for him, that was a personal issue that he pushed on her.
Facts.
It had nothing to do with her.
That's what insecurity does. That's what insecurity does.
And then, like, even in the clip, before, like, the one we watched, he was saying when you were partying. So then, of course, like in TV production, they go to a part of her like partying in a club or whatever. He's like,
she
was out living life.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. What was she supposed to do? Was she not supposed to enjoy life because you made a bad decision? Like, nah, Slim, like, let's be real. You decided to do illegal things, especially knowing that you are now a public figure because you're on a TV show.
Listen,
like, what? Like,
I concur. I concur. All I'm saying is that's the insecure mind, but brings us to the point.
Well, then, wait. So then, if you offer that same notion in your relationships, are you now insecure? Because that's an insecure statement. That
Shit,
says
I guess
you
I
need
am.
to go see Ayana.
Oh, no. I say this up front. I don't remind you of it. I tell you up front that this is how I see relationships. That I do see it as a volunteer thing, because a lot of people think because you said yes to me in January, right? Mm-hmm. That you have to keep that up in October. No. When you decide that you no longer want to be in this, you can exit. You do not need my permission for that.
I know that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know it, right? But communication for me says, let me let you understand something. Like, whether I like it or not, I'll be all right. I'm going to live. I'm a human being. Like, we built to survive.
But the way you offered it up was like, that's something that you say out the relationship.
Nah, I think.
And I'm not saying all the time, but like if you have a heated debate, discussion, or
no. I think
like,
it would be something.
Have to be here.
No. I would never say you don't have to be here.
Because I know.
I ain't gonna lie though, but I have said it. I have said it in the process of a relationship, like when things have. Well, we at that standstill moment. Like I feel like relationships are like this seesaw, and every now and then you got to the stalemate period, right, where you're not really progressing, you're not really regressing, you're just kind of there. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes when people get to that place, they start to really ask themselves questions that they shouldn't really be asking, like, "What am I doing here?" No, you got to understand there's lulls. There's you got to go up and down in this. Like sometimes when nothing's really happening, it doesn't mean that nothing's bad or nothing's good. It just means that we good.
Why is that a question that you shouldn't ask themselves? What am I doing here? Because if you recognize that you're in a stale position, what are we doing here? Like
we just here.
But how do we push ourselves to the next level? What do I need to give? What do I need to take? What do you need to give? What do you need to take?
Nah, do you say that with your job? Do you say that with everything else? No.
I do.
No. Not every no. No, the thing is, you may say it, but how you behave, you still get up and go to work, right? Mm-hmm. So don't be in my relationship asking what you doing here and you not working.
But guess what? When people ask, and I think that kind of also makes your point. So I don't know if I want to say that out.
Go ahead, make my point for me. Go ahead and make my point.
When you get to that point at your job, you need to find something new. But it doesn't always mean that you leave the company.
Yeah.
Sometimes it means
actual transfer, lateral movement, pick up a second hobby, you know what I'm saying? Volunteer on a project, something.
Because I'm not going to lie.
But you're not going to stop working.
I'm kind of in that space. I'm like, how do I grow? But that's the thing. But I'm looking, and I've had this conversation with my managers, like, I need to grow.
Correct.
So what can you do for me here?
Yeah.
Because I love the organization. I love what I do. So how can I grow here?
Yeah.
Not that I want to leave, but I need to grow.
But then my other part would be, what do you look? Are you looking?
I need to grow.
So let's say you need to grow. The beyond asking me or telling me that you need to grow, my other part would be like, look, if you have the mindset enough to be cognizant that all right, we're stale right now, then my next question is, continue that assessment and saying, where is the stale happening? Where are we stale at? How can we improve? How would you like to see us improve? Because now when you come to me, you're not communicating just a problem. You're communicating a problem or issue with possible resolutions that I could either help you or help us figure out the resolution or how we will attack this, or maybe saying, you know what, you got a great idea. Let's run with that one.
Okay, so I have a 50-50 feeling about identifying problems and taking them to groups or person. In this scenario, we're talking about relationships. Because sometimes I don't have the answer. I just know that there's an issue. And we all have strengths and weaknesses. Well, I don't like weaknesses. I like areas of improvement, because that's what I say with my students. You don't have any weaknesses. You have areas of improvement. Okay. So what if I can identify, because I know how I feel. And so that's an issue. And because we work off of feelings, right? You know when your woman is off because you can feel it. You can walk in a room and you will know that she's off, right?
Absolutely.
So because I feel a certain way, and I feel like maybe we've had situations where I can now pick up on your feelings and you're feeling a little off to me, I can say, you know what? We've been stuck in this space. I don't really know what it is. I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to identify it. But I want to put it on the table because we have to be honest about where we are.
Correct.
What's wrong with that? Because I don't have the
No. That's totally fine.
But some people, but I feel like you were around the corner from don't bring me the problem without a solution.
If you've been sitting on it. Put it this way.
You don't know that you're stale from day one.
Nah. Sometimes I hear
it takes you a little time to know that you're stale.
Maybe I'm saying it like this, right? From the moment you identify the stale, right? Let's say from the moment you identify the stale, right? The clock is on.
Right.
All right? So if you walk into a room and you be like, yo, I just realized something today. I don't know if you've been feeling this way. I don't know if you recognize this, but it just hit me in the shower, hit me when I was driving or I was working out, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just bringing it to you. I don't even know if it's even a real thing. I just know that I thought this and it felt true. Boom. That's different. That's you not, I'm cool with you not having the answers at that particular moment because now we have to vet it. Is this a real thing?
Right.
But when you notice something and you sit on it and then it become and it doesn't become untrue day 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And all you're doing is harping on the fact that it's real, but you're not doing anything in terms of saying, okay, well, look, I've been sitting on this for a couple of days. Why? What is the why?
Because I know George wants me to come with a solution.
All right.
He wants me to
then,
have all the answers.
No, I don't want you to have a solution. You got to start with you, then you go outward.
You per se, but because you're sitting here, it's
yeah,
George.
I want you to start with you first. Right, what are you doing to contribute to this deal?
Does that not warrant a few days? Do you just want me to come and be like...
But when you come, you're going
stale.
But all right, say if you've been stewing for 2, 3, 4 days, all right, so like there's a difference.
Don't say stewing because it might not be stewing.
Right.
Stewing is negative.
All right.
Say that you've been thinking.
Responsibility in what you say.
Yes.
All right. So you've been thinking about something. So let's say if you just thought about it and you want to bring it to the forefront, cool. You don't need to have a solution. You don't even have to have no real other thoughts about it.
Okay.
What do you think? Let's deal with this. Mm-hmm. If you think of it and you don't bring it to the forefront in the early going, right? Mm-hmm. And you've been thinking about it for a significant, let's say more than 72 hours, right? Mm-hmm. More than 24. Maybe say 48. I say 48. I think 48 is good.
72 is good.
72 is good? All right, we settled on 72. You've been thinking about it for 72 hours, right? Mm-hmm. Now my mentality is, okay, when you come to me, even if you don't have the answers, you better be thinking that you better have thought about what you may have been doing to contribute to the problem or to that reality. Mm-hmm. You may not have the solution, but the solution may be in what you may be doing.
And see,
or how you contribute.
I am a thinker. So if I feel a certain type of way, I am going to think about it because now I have to think about myself. Like, was it a thing that happened that made me feel this way? That I just up and like, well, we haven't done. I don't feel like we've grown. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm trying to identify why I feel this way before I come. Because even if you don't have the solution, people are going to have questions and they're going to want you to have answers.
True.
So I want to at least be able to answer some of the questions because we're not stale just because of you. We're stale because of us.
Facts.
So I am thinking about how did I go to therapy and my therapist says, how did I contribute to this?
Yep. That's a fact.
So I'm trying to think about how I contributed. Mm-hmm. I don't have the answer, but I need to be able to answer some of your questions.
If you can just answer what you think what role you may have played in it, we're good. Mm-hmm. Right? The same way if I come to you and I say, this is a problem, I should be able to come to you and tell you how I think that I have contributed, even if I enabled it. Even if my only contribution is enabling something or never bringing it to your attention ever in life. Like you did that thing 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and I let you slide 1, 2, 3.
No, you shouldn't let it slide after the first time.
That's how I contributed in that moment, right? Mm-hmm. But it could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be real extravagant. But moving forward, in that same situation, they're talking about these insecurities. She gets hot. Right? Because he's saying...
Did she really get hot? Don't
that's what she said. She said, now I'm pissed off. Did she say that?
Okay.
All right.
She said, well, now it's a problem.
It's a problem.
That's a problem.
So my man is sitting there feeling how he's feeling, not thinking about how he contributed to the problem, right? Mm-hmm. All right? He ain't saying, well, I'm sitting in here, right? And I ain't asking her by the time she called me or by the time she emailed me, yo, what's been happening this week? How busy have you been? How are the businesses running? How are the kids going? Because by the time you talk, you're not really getting into the weeds of it, and she's not giving you a rundown of the whole day. So you don't really know. You just know that you haven't talked to her, right? And you holding it like, all right, I ain't talked to you. All right, what's up? You good? All right, cool. I'm sure that's what the conversation is because you got some ego in it.
And he held it for however.
And he held it. So he wasn't coming to the problem. He didn't come to her with an understanding of at least how he could contribute to how he's feeling her right now. So now she's on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever. She said, this is new information to me. And now she's saying, yo, look, real talk. If the roles were reversed, would you hold me down like I did you? And he says, I don't know. And the world went into an uproar. And I said, my man said the truth. And he said, you say you never know. And the reality of the situation is everybody jumped, in my opinion, based off the reality of what she said. I heard Solomon say, you lie. You just lie. You say, yes, I would do the same thing. Right? And
I don't ever want you to lie to me.
And that's the thing. I seconded him saying, I don't know. Because I would have, if anybody would have told Yandy, Years been removed. Listen, your man is going to get locked up and he might have to do a 7-year bid. We don't know. It might even be longer. We don't know how this is going to go. Will you hold him down day one? She might be like, I mean, I want to, but I don't know.
But that's apples and watermelons.
No, what I'm saying is you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. True. But if you cannot even afford me, what I have already afforded you,
Which
that
is
is
what?
a problem, which was holding you down the whole
He
time
don't
he was
know.
there. That's a problem.
She didn't know she would. Did she know?
She made, when he got them papers that said he was going, she made the decision to do so, right? Okay.
And that's the thing. She had the luxury of the situation.
But we can only go off of the information that we have. We can't go off of shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
And the information we had, she didn't have to hold him down.
We know she didn't have to.
No. She was not in his shoes, so he's good to say, I don't know. Because they're not dealing with the reality. You're dealing with hypotheticals.
Call me Adele, because I would have said fire.
No.
Sure would have.
All right, so here's the point that I'm making. He's not wrong for saying that he doesn't know what he would do in that situation because he was not in that situation.
But for her, that's the problem.
And for
now that we've gotten married, we have children, you got your papers that saying you're going, and I continued in my commitment of supporting you while you were away. And now that we are on the other side of me holding you down, you dare sit in front of my face and tell me that you don't know. If me showing you, because love is a what?
No.
But
Hold up. Let me clarify. Are we saying that if she goes away tomorrow, will he hold her down? Or are we saying that if he never went away and then she had to go away?
No, we are talking about the facts. The facts of the matter is he went away. So now that I've held you down for 4, 5, or 7 years, I can't remember how many years it was.
She said the roles were reversed.
If the roles were reversed.
Like, he never went away, she went away.
No, for me, okay, so yeah, even with her saying roles are reversed, I'm still thinking it's, because I'm thinking as a woman. So yeah, if the roles were reversed, A, and also B, after I've held you down, that doesn't make you feel like you
then
would
that
do the
means
same?
he has to lie.
No, that means he needs to check why he doesn't feel the same way.
No.
You don't need to lie.
No.
You don't need to lie. I don't want you to ever lie. No, yes.
All right, maybe I'm missing this. All right, so help me understand what I think I'm missing. What I think I hear you saying is that
they got married and they made a commitment.
All right, let's define role reversal.
Mm-hmm.
Role reversal for me is they met each other.
Mm-hmm.
They got together.
Mm-hmm.
All right. She's the one with the children. She already had a child. Role reversal. Role reversal.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Role reversal. She got the child.
Mm-hmm.
They end up having a child. She gets sent away. Now he is taking care of the child, running the 5 businesses.
2.
Sorry.
Because they had, I'm saying he had one before.
Yeah, the 2 children. He's now taking care of the 2 children, running the 5 businesses, and will he hold her down while she is incarcerated for X number of time? Right? Mm-hmm. That's what I define to be role reversal. Is
true? That is role reversal.
All right, cool. Now,
and that's why I said, okay, as a woman, you are talking about the true definition of role reversal that you gave, but then I'm also thinking about all that we've gone through. Why is the answer I don't know? And I know that they are separate.
Because now you're asking him to lie. You're asking him to not. See, the thing is,
I want you to tell me the truth.
Because I'm not sure. Look, me and DC's, we be talking, right? If she were to go away tomorrow, yeah, I got you. But we ain't talking about that. We said role reversal. Which means,
need to play the clip back. I need to hear this again.
Don't worry about it. I send it to you. Me and him was talking on FaceTime. That's what he said. He said, look, they ain't say from today. They said role reversal. So for me, I'm thinking and he's thinking the way I'm thinking, which is, if you talking about before, no whatever, and she had to go away, would I have been able to do what she did? I don't know. 2 things. I honestly think that's a true statement. And I also think that's a testament of the respect that he has for what she was able to do because it was difficult. That was difficult. I don't think that was simple. I don't think that was an easy thing. And I think when you see the strength that it takes to be able to do that, You can't just say, yeah. No.
I don't think it's simple or easy at all, but I think...
All he said, I don't know. He could say,
and see, this is
maybe he should have said, I would try my hardest to, but I still don't know if I'll be able to do it as good as you did it.
That still would have been an issue for her.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just telling you what I honestly feel.
Yeah.
That probably still would have been an issue for her. But I think also, like, because I can only go off what I've seen on Love and Hip Hop, right?
Yeah.
So you came into the relationship with a kid. We're now together. I'm trying to think. Did they have the first kid before they found out about there was a possible kid that he had while they were in a relationship?
Not sure.
Right. But somewhere in their relationship, he had another baby while they were together.
Oh,
so right. So Mendeecees had one before they got together. He had one while they were together outside of Yandy, and then they had two of them together.
Oh, so they got 4 kids?
Yes.
Oh.
So
I didn't know
I'm going through all of these things with you. Dealing with your mother who disrespects me and the baby mothers and all that drama that comes with that, and still trying to hold you down. And this is way before jail comes along, right? Or prison comes along.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for her, as a woman who has gone through all of these crazy things with you, been humiliated and still stood by you, because the math is the math. If we were together for however many years and your kid is this age, my nigga, that fits in between the time that we were together. So I think for her, it just wasn't about the prison thing by itself. It's, I've held you down for so long, for so many different things, and I've still been here. So if we're going to truly reverse the roles, then that means that he would have to go through all of the same things that she went through. So that's why for her,
that was a loaded question. Issue. So he wasn't going to win that question either way.
And there was no good
response.
Take a woman cheating on him, and if she has a baby,
by
another man, it's over.
Listen, dudes can't handle it like women. Like women are strong individuals, and I'm not. Listen, let's be honest.
Are we strong?
Look. Here, I'm gonna even say something very transparent. I think that women can handle, like, they will be able to endure and keep moving forward. But I wonder how much chink in the armor exists at that point.
And it's not that we want to take that bullshit and keep moving. It is because that's how we've been taught. We have been taught. Look, God rest my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather. I grew up with my great-grandparents as well. I was blessed to have them and to truly know them and to have memories and experiences with them. But my great-grandfather was a Rolling Stone. And literally, like, my uncle tells stories. He was like, I was at a juke joint one time, so you know he old.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was trying to talk to this girl, and she was like, such and such, we can't date. I'm your sister. That same night, he was walking home, and these guys were getting ready to jump him. And one of them was like, oh, no, that's my brother.
Wow.
And when my great-grandmother passed, some of those siblings came. And when I tell you, I didn't know that one brother wasn't my uncle that I grew up with, because that's how much they looked alike. And looking at their ages, my grandfather was getting it in. Where was my great-grandmother going? How ostracized would she have been if she left? What was she taught? And my great-grandparents were sharecroppers, like children of sharecroppers. Where were they going? Where was she going? What was she going to do?
I ain't got a response, y'all. I mean, look, no.
So we have been taught and programmed that men can fuck up, but you stay. You work it out. You forgive. And you can't even sit on the hurt or the anger for too long. You have to figure out a way to suck it up and move on.
I don't...
Yeah. How many homegirls have you been like, well, he was wrong. He was wrong. He was messed up.
You know
but
what? Listen.
That's always the question.
Listen,
do you love him?
I'm gonna keep it a whole being with you. Like,
I love that.
No, I do agree. I do understand that, and I won't take nothing away from that. I think today, though, today, is there a fella in the house today?
No, there's not.
Today, my goodness, what is happening in the world? Man, ain't too many dudes that got, listen, man, this dude's sitting on the same couch as that woman said, how ostracized would I be if I leave? Dead ass, yo. Shit, you just see what happened with the dude with Drake? He fought fiance 8 years. Don't take it, man, me and my baby, we gonna go, she gonna record, and he gotta deal with the reality of his woman now stepping out with Drake. A momentary tryst.
Like,
that's tough. And the reason why is because, and this is what I always say when it comes to cheating or whatever, like, I think it's the way it's perceived between men and women are differently. I'm not saying that one is right and one is wrong. I'm just saying it's the perception. So when dudes look at it like Drake, he could be doing whatever he want. That's just a moment for him, right? Mm-hmm. So no dude is comfortable with his girl ever being the moment. He would like to believe that woman is beyond the moment, that she would not bend for the moment. Mm-hmm. No pun intended, but he would like to believe that she's better than a moment. She would not allow herself to be reduced to a moment, right? For a person who has no interest in being responsible to her, for her, whatever. Most times when dudes step out, oftentimes that woman is somebody who, if she could be that person in his life, she would. Fact, I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it honest.
Say that again. Men step out for women that...
No. I'm not saying men step out for. I'm saying that the difference in the mentality is that a dude is looking at it like that woman is stepping out with a person who only wants her for a moment. Not a person who wants to be responsible for her, wants to love her, wants to be there for her, wants to shower her.
Because men want moments when they step out of their relationships too. Is that what you're also saying?
Was that you said? Our men want a moment? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
those men want a moment, whether they're stepping out or whether they are the single man roaming free. They're just looking for a moment. They just need to be able to say, I had it. That's how most men see it. So if you have a woman, you would like to believe that she is not going to allow herself to be reduced to a moment in a man's life, right? You know what I'm saying? And when you think moment, a dude could be real graphic with that. You know what I'm saying? Because the things that he expects her to be to him, he don't want to see that being with her with another dude who just want it for the moment. He feel like, if you're doing that for me, look, I'm paying for it. I'm here for you. I'm rubbing your back, rubbing your feet. I'm here for, I'm saying paying for, like, I'm the one, not paying for you, but like, I am, I'm involved in your life. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm invested. Like, when birthdays come around, it matters to me that you have a good birthday or holidays or whatever you're into. I support your dreams and your goals and your ambitions. Like, he's looking at it from his investment standpoint. That's what I mean by pay, not physically cash, whatever.
Okay.
Now, on the flip side, when a dude steps out, oftentimes a dude looks at it like that woman could possibly be his if he wanted to pursue that relationship. It's not a momentary tryst, right? So that's why he looks at it as different. Now, because of that, that's why dudes, I think, most oftentimes cannot handle it, because now they're like, yo, you are like the woman that I may have wanted a moment with, or that I hear my men talk about, that they just want the moment with. You've allowed yourself to be that, and they can't handle that. Now, is this all facts and true? No.
No, because some women want moments too.
Facts. And that's what a lot of dudes wind up learning in the end. And that's the hard thing.
She wants to be able to say, I hear Drake.
Yeah. And that dude, and if you're like, yo, like, that's what you like, because no dude want to think that's what his girl would want. And the thing is, my man Tone is always saying is, what made you, or why do you want to put that woman or that person on that level of pedestal of perfection, right? Like, they're capable of doing the same thing that you can do. They're capable of wanting and desiring the same thing. There's women out here who may just want to experience being touched, felt, banged, whatever, by this guy that is like the object of their affection. They may have no desire on being with this guy, creating a family and babies with this guy. They just want that moment, that experience for whatever it is. No different than there's dudes out here who will want a moment with a woman for whatever reason, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's something you end up graduating from in time, but at the end of the day, that is what it is. Not everybody?
No.
Oh, no. I don't think everybody. I hope it is, though. After a while, it's like,
we
it's
know
too
the
much.
facts of life it's not something that everybody graduates from.
Man.
That's how some of those high-value men live their lives, because they feel like that's something, that's a benefit that I get.
Because I'm high value, quote unquote.
Because I'm making 6-7 figures, and this is just what happens.
Do you want a high value man? It's a real question.
Not that's going to play by some of those rules.
High value in what context?
You want all of the things that your grandmama and your great grandmama and society told you should have, or that you're supposed to have,
such as
in a relationship. So you do want a man that can protect and provide, one that's going to respect you, support you, love you, care for you, that kind of thing. Like really listens, like all into you, knows what makes you tick, that kind of thing. You want a praying man. You want a man that's, that's fearful and, has a reverence for God and, that kind of thing, that has those traditional values. You want a family man. Like if I see you got a jacked up family, like that makes me pause, because sometimes I'm thinking you could be a little bit too much left as far as like not really dealing with those issues and bringing them into the relationship. So that's kind of hit or miss. But you do want a man that has a healthy relationship with his family. And maybe your mom wasn't there, but whoever your mother figure is, you revere her, you support her, you love her, you cherish her.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that he has a healthy idea of relationships. Like, although I grew up with a single mother, and I watched my mother really, and this is crazy, but it's not crazy, but my mother had 2 major relationships my whole life.
Okay.
So I saw the interactions of, I guess, like a long-term committed relationship, but not a marriage. And I think it's different. As opposed to watching like aunts and uncles who were married, watching my great-grandparents who were married until, they went to be with the Lord. Like, I felt like there was something that was a little different, right?
Yeah.
I learned things that I didn't want, and I learned things that I don't want to do from my mother. But I learned, and I got like my morals and values about relationships from my grandparents and my great-grandparents, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
So for me, the trouble sometimes is I have a very old school and Southern mindset, because my great-grandparents, my grandparents are from South Carolina. So my idea of relationships, and I do have a lot of the traditional like roles in my head, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it makes the lines or the way you engage each other in the relationship just very crystal clear. Pun intended.
Pun intended.
So those are the things that I like. But if I have to measure, because that's what we all do in some shape, form, or fashion, we measure our partner against our parent, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, right?
Got you.
So if I have to measure a man against my 86-year-old grandfather, that could be problematic, because he's solid. Even when my grandparents got divorced, my grandfather didn't miss a beat. Got an extra job so that he could still make sure he was paying the mortgage in the house that he wasn't living in, and then go buy him a home.
It's a great man.
Yes, he is. Hey, granddaddy, I love you, boo. But so I have those ideas and those wants and those needs. And then when he left the military and then he went into the government doing some work with them, like, he became a high value man. So if I'm looking at Abraham as my example, as a high value man, that's what I want. I want that.
Are you having that conversation up front?
I told you, I have very clear conversations. If you don't want to get married, if you don't want to have kids, we don't even need to have any more conversation. I'm not going to ask you a damn thing else if kids and marriage aren't both a yes. I'll finish out the meal. We could chat about the weather, your favorite vacation spot. Oh, I went to Cuba. Let me tell you about, okay, this is what you need to do when you go to Cuba. I had a driver. Let me give you his number and name. Like, he's the best. We can talk about all of that stuff right there.
But you're done.
I posted something the other day that was like, the good thing about dating in DC is, like, if the date didn't work out, it's now like considered networking.
It is.
So it's networking,
Y'all heard it here first. Crystal just put y'all on.
Sure did.
Don't look at these dates like it got to be a win. It could be a win. If you do really want it to be a win, a networking win.
A networking win.
Or a relationship win.
Because he might end up being somebody that I need to solicit Funds from when I built my own when I go back into the nonprofit world as, for myself. So
say less. Say less.
I mean, one thing nobody can will say about me is that I don't love kids. I don't love what I do.
Yeah.
So that passion comes across super hard, clear. Like I don't have to think about that. So look, go ahead, 6-figure man, break out that checkbook.
Hey, I love it.
Let me get $100,000 off of you.
And on that note, she speaks on motherly, that motherly instinct. Mm-hmm. I honestly, we definitely, from the Putting In podcast and Miss Crystal, really want to say Happy Mother's Day. It's going to be a little belated for everyone who's listening on this when it releases, but definitely if you're a mother, Happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is actually every day, so shout y'all out.
It is.
Just like Valentine's Day should be every day, Mother's Day is definitely one. Shout out to our fathers out there too.
Whoa, no.
I'm definitely going to shout them out because there's some, because there's probably.
It's not Father's Day.
No, it's not.
I don't like that. No, I don't like that.
All right, and we're going to give them that. We're going to make sure.
I don't like that.
Because there's somebody.
Mother's Day. We are talking about the women.
There's probably a man. Birth. There's probably a man right now. Hold on. Hear me clearly. Let me get this one out because it might make sense that I might get a pass for this one. Okay. There's probably a man, right, who's had to deal with the reality of taking the responsibility for a mother that cannot be here right now. Can I give him that?
No.
All right, never mind.
Because he's being a father.
Sorry about that.
No, Mother's Day is for women who have given
So on
birth.
Father's Day, I don't want to see no women getting shout out. Okay, cool.
I'm very black and white. No. It is Mother's Day. So we are talking about
mothers and mothers only.
We are talking about grandmothers. We are talking about aunts who have stepped in
as mothers.
Be mothers. We are talking about godmothers who have had to step in and really take on that godmother role that I take seriously. We're talking about women who have become mothers because they have adopted.
I concede.
We're even talking about the mothers. No, I'm just being clear.
No, keep going. I'm just saying I concede.
The mothers who are mothers of rainbow babies, where the babies had to go and be with the Lord a little early. We are talking about women.
Women.
Period.
Mothers. I apologize.
Women who have periods. And that missed them. And that's how they became mothers.
Apologies.
Now, when June rolls around,
look, you got it. Listen, talk about mothers. I apologize. I apologize. All mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to Kathy Gordon, my mama.
Shout out to
my
you.
My mama and mama.
Shout out my mama. Shout out Tone's mama. Shout out Asia's mama. Shout out your mama and your mama's mama.
That's right.
Shout out all the mamas. I'm appreciative. Thank you for all of y'all hard work out here and for really getting us straight. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, we thank y'all for listening to episode 165. Thank you, Miss Crystal.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to bring her back. We got the full group in the building. See if we can get all that energy in. Today she came in. She said, I got you. I'm here with you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't going to leave you lonely out here being the mother that she can be. So I appreciate you. Y'all can find her online at what?
Prissy Pearl 18.
At Prissy Pearl 18. Mm-hmm. Oh, she keep mad at me because I keep calling her.
The single men.
Yeah, single men.
Especially the single men.
Single, somewhat, sort of, kind of like the high value men that Kevin talked about, but the more so the one that she talked about, that single man.
Yeah, that's
holla at her. Holla at her.
Holla at your girl.
Holla at her.
That's right.
And on that note, you can find me online at IsGeorgeD. You can find Tone Sets at BTB_SCS. You can find Asia at APhil1823. We actually go follow the podcast right now at Pintap_podcast. That's at PINTAP_podcast. Click the link there. And once you click the link, you'll be able to subscribe to any audio platform of your choice. Listen to all the audio, and catch all the videos on the website. We thank y'all for listening. We are out.